And action.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between, welcome to episode something of the Stay Positive podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by someone. His name's Pete. No one cares. Anyway, I want to say one thing before we start this episode. We're not brokers. We're not experts at economics. Wait. I'm an expert, obviously. Pete, he doesn't know anything. I don't have a degree in it. He's an engineer. Lame. Am I right, guys? Anyway, so don't take our advice to heart. You know, do your research and don't just listen to us. Thank you. Pete, you have anything to add?
Yeah, that was in reference to last week because we gave some intense investment advice, clearly.
We is a strong word, Pete.
No, I had two things to clear up, though. But the one thing was when I said that the government, or the Fed, the government would buy equities. That was false. It's securities. Securities meaning anything from like equity in a company to like a bond, government issued bond, and other things that you can purchase as a security. That was one thing. The other thing was
don't buy Bitcoin.
Shut up. The other thing was for Bitcoin mining. I was horribly embarrassed by Alex, who
actually looked it up myself. And found the truth.
Listen, in my defense, I'm not a Bitcoin miner, so I didn't know any better. All right. All I know was about how the thing works and why it's valuable.
All right.
So ease off, bro.
I'm cool.
Anyways, the point is that when you mine Bitcoin, you actually sell it for its value as well as the fee for mining it.
The finder's fee, basically. It's like you found it, so all the cash apps, they'll pay you money for, finding it.
The Coinbases and all that.
All right.
But, anyways, we have another guest today.
What? Are you kidding me? It's not just us today?
Hi, guys.
oh my God. Pete, how long has this person been here?
Yeah, he's actually just been listening in to us give our
Who let him in, Pete?
Not me.
Not me either.
So anyways,
you want to stick around? Have a fun conversation about stuff?
That sounds awesome.
All right. Care to introduce yourself, random stranger?
Hi, guys. My name is Keegan Morris.
Do you want to keep your full name?
Yes.
All right.
You don't have to keep your full name.
Yeah, we let anyone pick whatever name they want.
Okay. You guys can call me Keegan.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
I'm also an engineer. I'm not sure why that's useful or not, but also a Bitcoin enthusiast.
Love to see it.
All right. I'm outnumbered.
I put him on, bro.
Stoked to be a part of the Stay Positive podcast.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
How much Bitcoin do you have?
Right now, I have $250.
Can I have some?
You wish.
I do. Anyway, would you like to tell us about yourself, Pete? Not Pete. We don't care about you, Pete. Keegan. So you're an engineer, probably better than Pete at it.
He actually is, bro.
I don't know about that, but right now I'm going to be a senior at Stevens Institute of Technology.
It's a pretty good school.
It's nice. It's in Hoboken, New Jersey. It's very close to the city.
It's whack.
That's where all the jobs are, Pete. Don't know about Boston.
You're right. Ooh.
Got him.
Ooh. Oh, he's already starting, right?
I'm studying computer engineering, like I said, and I'm trying to get into cybersecurity.
Oh, you're a so you're a programmer.
I'd say the greatest programmer, but I'm versed in it.
All right, so
he's better than me.
That's not saying much, Pete.
Damn, that's tough.
This is the Talk Smack About Pete podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
You also play tennis, or you used to. I don't know.
Yeah, I still play tennis. I play tennis at the school at Stevens. Play with Pete, train with him.
Yeah.
I played Alex in the past.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, but it's glad to hear you remember it.
Was that freshman year of high school? I'm just kidding. I'm messing around. Go on.
I think it was like my senior year, so it was my last chance. But I'm not bitter or anything. All right. Did Boston and Stevenson ever play?
No, they don't.
They don't.
You're lucky.
You're right. All right. So, any cool topics we want to talk about today?
I think a really hot topic is healthcare in the U.S. and maybe the advantages or disadvantages that we see. I especially think there's a growing problem with the mental health industry of the healthcare system, and that needs to be discussed.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I don't know anything about healthcare other than doctor bills me, insurance pays. Other than that, like
I don't know much either.
Sometimes insurance doesn't pay, and then
you have to pay for yourself. Yeah.
Or
I know just about as much healthcare as Grey's Anatomy.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to know too much about healthcare to understand that there is a cultural problem too with the system.
Really?
I mean, you see so many drug users are addicted, substance abuse problems, and in this country, what we do is we punish those people when in reality they're addicted and they have a mental health issue. So
interesting sight.
There's a statistic like I think 1% of the total healthcare costs that we allocate for the government is spent on substance abuse, and I think almost all of it is used on what is used after the after effects. Nothing is used. 1% of that 1% is used to prevent
people.
Prevent
it.
Yeah.
You remember in high school they used to tell us a little bit about drugs, or you had a health class? What do you think about that idea of trying to scare kids? You think that works or not really?
I don't think that works. I think that's part of the problem too. The government has the war on drug policy.
Yeah, but that was
that's the same thing almost.
Almost.
We punish people for being addicted and having mental problems instead of
rehabilitating, right?
Yes, exactly.
But how do you convince someone not to do it in the first place?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the thing is, you're so scared of it, you start using it out of fear, maybe?
No, I think they just are rebellious, because when you're a kid, you're like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, and there's always that sense of, invincibility, oh, the statistics say, I don't know, 90%, but, not me, because I'm cool.
Yeah, exactly. The taboo aspect of it, too, is just,
it's cool.
Exhilarating for some people.
Yeah, when, those kids who, are smoking and drinking when they're, 12 years old, people with self-esteem issues, they're like, whoa, they're so cool, they're so mature for their age, and I'm just like, no, they're not. But yeah, in school, I haven't been in middle school for a long time, so thank God for that. But they would talk about drugs and just be like, this is bad, and it'll kill you, which it's true. But the thing is, at the time, no one cared, because at the time, the way I saw it was either you were smart enough not to do it or you were already doing it. So everything they were saying, nobody cared. So how do you get young people to, at the very least care? Maybe not necessarily don't do it. I wouldn't, but if you're the experimental type, there have been people in college who were like, I just want to try it, and what if you like it?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying it.
Yeah, no. That's why I said, but what happens if you do it without being safe? You know? There, LSD, for example. If you do LSD, I heard the guidelines to be safe is lock the door and take all the sharp objects out of the room.
Whoa.
It's
really?
Well, it depends how strong it is, but you don't want an accident.
If you throw 5 tabs in your mouth and
you don't want an accident to happen. You don't want either
the ceiling starts falling through the floor.
I mean, if you start tasting colors, you're you're living the good life, but it's just you need to be safe, and there are just some drugs that long-term use definitely has negative effects on the brain, but so the whole point of addiction is they don't know any better. They need it. Yeah. It's less that they want it at a certain point. They just start needing to do it.
Yeah, withdrawals are tough. You see people going through withdrawals from drugs. They'll literally
they're shaking.
Puking.
Yeah. I was having a talk with my friends because I was ignorant, and I said, "What's so hard about stopping?" And they were telling me it's you can't just not stop because of withdrawal. like the way like rehab works is they give you smaller doses, so you have to really do it step by step. It's not just you cut immediately. Because apparently that's really bad for the brain, because when you develop an addiction, apparently your brain starts thinking that's the normal, and once you immediately stop, now your brain, what thought it's normal, suddenly you just deprived it of what's normal and it starts breaking down. That's probably why you're like shivering, you're shaking, you're struggling to focus, you're vomiting, as you said. Like your brain is literally like losing itself. It's just like, I need this now.
Yeah.
Which, that sucks.
I mean, this country doesn't have the greatest like relapse preventative measures either. I mean, like, you grow up with your favorite Disney star being Lindsay Lohan. She relapsed I don't know how many times. So you think that's cool too, you know?
Not everyone is Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan, bro. Britney Spears too.
Britney Spears. Demi Lovato.
No, but Demi's clean now, bro.
Demi's clean. She just can't talk about 21 Savage or we're gonna go off.
That's true.
Yeah, everyone's clean until you give them 5 months, so the counter starts over again.
Yeah, that's tough.
But like,
you see, the war on drugs really has been a huge failure.
Yeah.
Huge economic failure. Huge, just like.
I mean, how failure. Would you stop it?
Well, honestly, like, I would go the same route that Keegan was kind of alluding to. Like, you need to do more rehabilitation. You see, in other countries, especially European countries, they do a lot more rehabilitative measures. Did I say that right? I don't even know. I think Switzerland, they have a very good rehab program. And they tried it out. I don't know when, but I watched a video on it, and they tried it out, and they noticed like an 80% decrease in users within the first decade.
What do they do that's different? Just more like interaction, or just caring more for the people?
I don't know if it's necessarily interaction. It's definitely more
get them hooked on a different drug.
No.
That would do it.
No, it's like informing people, like giving them knowledge about what they're getting into, and not in the school health class sex ed type of thing, you know? It's
just
like the
information.
Yeah, like telling you, like, this is what's gonna happen when you get addicted. Like, they're not trying to make it taboo, like right. You said.
Maybe they treat them actually like mental health.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They treat them like they have a real problem, and instead of like telling them telling them that they're being stupid or like hurting society or ostracizing, like being criminals, like they're like, okay, wait, like you need to be rehabbed, and so you need to do everything to rehab yourself as well, like take the responsibility, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to look at you, like, I'm going to look at you as a human being, right? And that's what they do. And that's been working, you know, but over here it's...
How much money does it cost to make a rehab center?
I have no idea.
How much does the employees get paid?
Do I look like a rehab?
You seem kind of smart.
No, but I will say that the war on drugs, funny enough, I saw like facts that, or the video that I watched, it showed how the war on drugs has actually perpetuated a culture of more drugs entering the market. Yeah.
How?
Well, because it becomes a lot, like, you know, when, like we said before, something is illegal, and you just want to do it way more. You want it more.
The thing is, if you made it all legal, I feel like that's not the smartest idea, because then you're going to have people on like meth and marijuana driving cars, and like that's not going to... that a lot of bad things could happen if everything's legal. I'm not sure. Like, in my fantasy world, I imagine if everything's legal, like, people will no longer, like, they think it won't be cool anymore, because now it's within their reach. They might take it for granted and just, like, drop it. Maybe, but that's just my, like, fantasy hypothetical. There's no there's also the hypothetical, like, if you made everything legal and affordable, that people will just start binging it like crazy and just killing themselves.
Of course. I don't know. There's a very fine line in countries like Switzerland or these European countries. They play it well. Like, they don't necessarily make everything legal, but they have measures in place to make sure that you can recover.
Switzerland is a bad example because it's a really well-structured country.
It is. That's why things are so expensive there.
Yeah.
Like you could get a chocolate bar for $20 there, probably.
It's probably worth it though. Swiss chocolate.
Low key, yeah. No, but I think a good case study would be like the Netherlands. You know, because like everything is legal there.
Is it? I thought it was just marijuana and strippers.
The red light district.
Yeah, isn't that? It's Holland, right?
Yeah, but every country has its own. You know.
Yeah,
like...
but not one that's just like, hey, it's over there. The police will join you too if you want.
But no, like everything in Netherlands is like, or like most things, like you can also go and get other stuff there, from what I've heard.
Okay.
I don't know what.
You want to move to Holland right now?
No, I'm okay here, bro.
I think talking about like what's legal and illegal is like good too, because I think alcohol is a big drug too that is in play, but that's technically legal.
So do you look at alcohol as a drug?
It is a drug, but
it's definitely it's like a substance abuse. People are addicted to it and they have mental health problems with that. And I mean that's legal, but I mean people aren't jailed for being alcoholics. They're jailed for smoking cannabis.
I don't know much about cannabis. Everyone tells me that like it doesn't have any negative effects on the brain long term. Is that true? Yeah, you're like in that state of mind, that relaxed state, but it's not hurting your brain, is it?
I think at a certain age, once you're fully developed, it doesn't have negative effects.
Okay.
But it's not good for children. So I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So adults are fine.
There are a lot of positive and negative effects of it. Like I would say negative effects would be to a developing brain. You don't want to be putting that in your system, you know, like as a kid or a growing young adult, teenager, whatever.
Yeah.
It's probably not the best thing because your brain is still developing up until the age of like 24, 25, you know?
Okay.
But I mean, if you're an adult and you have severe anxiety and you're like shaking because you have this OCD problem,
maybe you should just get your life together.
You are the problem with the healthcare system.
It's true. I'll fix it. I have a piggy bank.
Oh, bet. I like that. No, I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. Sick.
What were you saying? You were saying, I forgot what he was saying.
The problems with it and how it's...
Oh, yeah, there are problems with marijuana, that young people shouldn't have it. Oh, if you're like a shaking adult, you should, I guess, smoke it.
Like if you can't stand the like that one pencil is like moved by 10 degrees, for instance, then
I mean, don't they have like actual OCD medication for that?
But I don't know. That stuff might be addictive because let's look at this also. Pharmas make addictive medication.
It's not. I don't think they're making it addictive. It's just it is addictive. Like opioids are addictive because they just like put you in a state of like absolute like heaven or ecstasy. It's just like you just feel lighter, you feel happier because the pain is gone, your senses are nulled. It's just, and cocaine, it just does the opposite. It stimulates you to the point that like every sensation feels like magnificent. It's just unbelievable. That's why all the Wall Street brokers use it.
Yeah, you watched Wolf of Wall Street.
I did watch Wolf of Wall Street.
Great movie.
It is a great movie. Don't watch it with your girlfriend. I made that mistake.
Or with a child under 18.
That too.
No, probably under 15. I don't know. It's a great movie, though.
I don't know. But, like, I don't know. If you do it, is there a way to do it without getting addicted? Any kind of drug?
I think if you are...
Responsible.
Responsible. If you're trying to do something just for an experience for once in a lifetime, that you're very self-aware and you have a lot of clarity that you know you'll never do this again.
But that's the problem. It's
that
like,
is weird.
What happens? Because like, I don't want to get too philosophical, but like each of our like ideal lives are all different. You know,
it's true.
What I want to do with my life might be different from what you two want versus anyone else, what they want. So what if someone just wants to, you know, do crystal meth or whatever very highly addictive drug and just do that and just enjoy whatever sensation they're feeling and do that forever? until like they're 40, 35 and they die of an overdose. Who am I to say that life is the wrong life?
Well, I'm sure they can, but like also those people that are substance abusers, like I think a third of them have underlying mental health issues that aren't being addressed to begin with.
Like their brain, something is wrong also.
I mean, look at how many homeless people are in the city. Do you think they're all mental health or sound?
I don't know.
I mean, it looks like at least half of them have something wrong. No?
I mean, but...
This is interesting. And actually, you mentioned this to me a little earlier today.
I did.
So I wonder how this plays in. This, because it might be like just a... It just might be of consequence then. So explain what you told me before.
So where I work, I had like an hour and a half long lunch break with one of my coworkers. And he said that before he worked here, he worked 6 or 7 years at a homeless shelter. And I never met anyone who worked at a homeless shelter. So I asked him, what do you do there? Like, what is the job there? And he basically says you take in homeless people and you feed them, you maybe give them some clothes, and you try to help them. You try to help them get a job. You try to help them like organize their life, plan stuff out. You're like, apparently from the way he described it, you take people in and you're trying to help them. Like you said, some of them are on drugs, and I asked him, that's very good of you, aren't you helping these people a lot? And he said, not all of them really want to be helped, you know. Some of them, they just want, the free foods and just the blankets, the roof over their head, they don't go in there with the idea of I'm going to put my life together. They go in there just to like be taken care of for a little bit. Right. And then when they eventually get kicked out because they're not showing any progress after 2 to 6 months, they have to let them go because, it's not a substitute for their life. They have to like improve. They're there to help you, not to take care of you. And that made me like, and he said not everyone was like that, but like especially people who did drugs, they definitely they didn't have any real interest in trying to like get a job or come clean. They just wanted to just keep doing, like, I can't live anyone's life for them. I can reach my hand out, like, to pick them up or, like, drag them somewhere, but it's their responsibility to grab on,
Yeah. There are no, like, systems in place, though, to help them, There is I don't think there is a system that is like, here, I'm going to help you. Like, I mean, if you want to truly get better, like, the best option that you see available is probably, like, a rehab center.
Yeah.
And those are
expensive,
astronomical costs. Like, our insurance probably covers 15% of it, almost.
No way.
That's, like, the max that they'll cover for it. Yeah. And, like, you go there and it's, like you've seen the commercials for it probably. It looks like a holiday resort,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you go there and you're drug-free, but you're, like, living the life. And then, like, you come back to the like, even your family probably forced you to go there. They force you to go on a holiday with no drugs. And I'm sure that sounds great to a lot of people. And they come back and the stress of everyday life comes back, getting a job, having to pay bills, and they don't know how to handle it. Because...
And then that pack of Newports just looks really appealing,
Yeah, I mean, the thing about
vacation, you buy a needle.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about vacations is vacations are temporary. Once you're gone, once you come back from your Caribbean vacation or your summer camp, welcome back to real world, and now all the realities come smashing you in the head, and you're like, I'm feeling very strong emotions right now. I need something to dull that pain away. Yeah. And back to square one.
But you guys think there could be a better system instead of having something that causes them like a great change in emotions, no?
If what you say is true that the insurance only covers 15%, I think maybe a good idea would be to cover more for the first time.
Yeah.
So this way, maybe 15% for second, third, like if you keep making a mistake.
Offense, you mean?
Yeah. Because if you make a mistake, if you're addicted for the first time, not everyone is making not everyone is like going down the path of self-destruction. Some people just did it because they fell victim to it, and these people could have beautiful lives to lead if someone could just, if they're willing to work and you're willing to help, they could get their life back on track. It's hard if what you said is true. If it's only 15%, you're going to look at that and be like, well, if I do this, I'm going to be really in debt and really stressed out, and I'm going to do the drugs again.
Yeah, I feel like that's a huge thing, right? It's probably just a self-feeding loop.
Yeah. And these like rehab centers, they skew the success rates. It's your success rate is based on if you complete the program, not if you,
no way.
If you relapse, yeah.
What does a program do? Just like lowers your amount intake until you stop?
If you complete the program, so if you're clean by the end of it, not taking drugs while you're there.
I guess they have some arbitrary standards that you have to meet to like leave the place, your holiday resort, your little Bahamas.
But this still it falls into place of like being a vacation or just a break. It's like, yeah, you stopped, but the second you're out that door, there's no reason why I just don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which is probably why they're allowed to charge so much too.
That's so stupid. I mean,
is this government paid or don't private think that's paid? Smart. These rehab centers.
Good question.
If it's government paid, then it should be fixed. If it's privately paid, it should be fixed. But I don't think they're gonna do it. It's just free money at that point.
Obviously, we know that government would probably not fix it anyway, though. I've also I've been trying to search this stuff up, and I've gotten help is available from Google 5 times already. So I'm very concerned now that I'm probably gonna get flagged several times, and my parents are gonna get
you're already on 5 different lists, Pete.
Yeah, they're gonna probably send some people to my house and be like, yeah, so we saw you had these these interesting searches lately.
They should.
Are you okay?
They should.
But you see, that actually wouldn't be terrible. It's just
why would I?
What kind of costs would society incur for that first? Then second, yeah, I would be I've been doing a podcast episode about this stuff. I'm actually okay. You don't have to worry about me.
What about self-denial? What if people are on drugs and they say I don't have a problem? Now what? Now you need an intervention. Or a baseball bat. Whichever works.
Yeah, that's the thing though. You have to be able to take constructive criticism. Because if you can't take it, then it's
Okay, Pete, give me constructive criticism.
I think your eyebrows are a little too bushy today.
Well, you know what, Pete? Life isn't about you and your sense of style. Maybe I like my eyebrows this way. Maybe I want my eyebrows to be as pointy as the Eiffel Tower, Pete. God!
I think we need a certified intervention.
Oh, man, that's tough.
And probably high school diploma only.
Yeah.
No bachelor required.
I mean, it's hard because, some people... I don't necessarily want to say nobody wants help, but there are people who make it really difficult. They wall themselves in, whether it's through denial or fear. Maybe they don't want to be judged. If I was addicted to something and I came out, or my parents had an intervention and became public, or all my friends knew, I probably would feel a little embarrassed or humiliated. Because even if everyone is supportive, you have that self-embarrassment that you're now everyone knows that I fell victim to this. So that probably doesn't help at all.
Yeah. I mean, another problem with the U.S. healthcare, I mean, just ask any foreigner, maybe one of the top things America is known for, they'll probably say McDonald's and obesity.
Ooh, that's another thing. You see, I think it's just the privatization of a lot of these sectors when it comes to healthcare is a big issue. I couldn't find necessarily.
What does obesity have to do with healthcare?
Well, you were talking about how people are in denial and fear and they're embarrassed. I think
the same is for obesity.
Yeah,
problems.
There's definitely underlying mental health issues with that too that aren't being addressed. I mean, have you ever seen?
Is it mental health or just self-esteem, or is that the same? Or is it a Venn diagram where they overlap to some degree.
There's probably an overlap. I mean, a lot of people with obesity have like childhood trauma. They were like.
Is that so?
I think so. Pretty sure.
Really? I had no idea. Oh well, I mean, I'll admit
not everyone.
No, not definitely not everyone.
I'll admit ignorance to this because I feel like
I don't know.
I don't know. That's something you would never believe, but it's also something that could be common sense. Because like someone that has childhood trauma, you know, like they lived a messed up life. You know, there's something bound to be wrong, and like they just fall to some vices.
Yeah, I mean, if no one tells you to like slow down, why should you? Or to like take care of yourself, why should you? You know? So
would you call that a nature or nurture thing then?
Like, I'm just imagining, like, you've seen probably kids who are 5, 10, 15 who are really large for their age.
Yeah.
That's not normal. They shouldn't look like that. Not naturally. It's probably because they ate a lot, I assume. What happens if it's like your parents?
Weird assumption.
How'd you come to that?
It's an assumption. It could be, you know, the thyroid disorder, but I don't.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know how many. I don't know.
Damn, I look like it.
You look like a jerk, but it's okay. It's okay. We love you. We love you here, Pete. I don't know how common that is. I just know it exists. But anyway, and how did they get like that? And to some degree, what if your family just overfeeds you, and like because they love you, you know? Because as a child, you know, from a primitive aspect, you love the person that gives you food.
Mm-hmm.
And your parents love to see you happy, so then that just keeps going.
Another primitive part of the feedback loop as well.
And then you suddenly doing any sort of physical activity is hard, and it's not making you happy anymore. So now you become recluse, or you stay inside, or you stop doing exercise, or you stop doing those hyper things that kids are stereotypically known for. And now you're being constantly fed, and you're being lethargic. What happens now? You get bigger, and that's
weird how it works.
And this is just a hypothetical example, so there probably are examples of like traumatic experiences, because I can imagine when I was in college, you know, there were times where I was just super stressed and I was just eating, like, because I didn't care.
Everybody has it. I mean, I said the story about how when I got hurt, I was just eating like crazy.
Yeah.
Freshman year when I hurt my ankle, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough period.
Same with me and my shoulder.
Yeah, dude. You get hurt, and it sucks. The thing you resort to is like eating, and I gained like 15 pounds in a month that way.
I don't know about that, but like when you have like 3 exams and like 2 projects due in the next like 4 days,
it's just flaming hot Cheetos from there, baby.
No. I didn't eat junk food. I didn't eat because I'm poor. I'm not gonna buy Cheetos. Are you kidding me? But like I would go to the mess hall or the cafeteria, and I would just eat and eat and eat and study, and then eat and eat and eat, and I didn't care because I'm like I'm too stressed out to care. I have tests to study for. Why should I care about my weight?
So yeah, that stress really plays a big part.
No. This is an example of like trauma can also be like a negative mental aspect that could, like, if you're like traumatized or scared, food can comfort you, so you eat and eat. Mm-hmm. And eat and eat and eat, and then before you know it, you're a bit heavier.
Keeg, I'm like interested. What kind of infrastructure changes do you think would have to be made?
To what? Food or healthcare?
I think healthcare to address these kind of mental health issues. I guess like on the side of drugs, on the side of food, what's disabilities. Because there are, like, we could have talked about disabilities as well, and sometimes, like, some of those things.
But disabilities are
I would say that
genetic, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. The disabilities would...
or from tragedy.
Would be a prerequisite, and then mental health issues arise because of that, possibly.
Well, like, infrastructure-wise, like, I think, like Alex was saying before, like, putting the hand out, like, there needs to be an infrastructure that has their hand out for these people. Mm-hmm. And especially... I think like a big problem here is like there is a lot of people that are uninsured just because they don't want to pay the prices they also suffer. These I don't know, there's no real emphasis on mental health I mean, it's a growing issue, and a lot of people are becoming aware of it. But there's no systems in place from like when you're young to like even like middle age, like where mental health, like how it affects people.
No, I agree on that. To be honest, I definitely agree on that. But on a different note, I feel as though there's also, like, this might sound super crude, but there's also an aspect of where, like you said a little bit before, Alex, some people, they don't want to be helped in a way. So, you have to sometimes realize within yourself that you need to kind of just pick yourself up in a way. If you have a person that gives you a helping hand, or if you need that helping hand, that's fine. But you need to also make the conscious decision to, like, pick yourself up and get going,
I know.
It's a you're a class act. It's a very meritocratic point of view, and like for people that have these type of issues, it might be insensitive, but in the end, it's kind of unavoidable.
No, I mean, it's cruel to say, but we can't help everyone with everything all the time. That's just not gonna happen ever.
It's unfortunately unsustainable.
It's not like unfortunate. It's like you have your life to live. I can't live it for you.
Yeah. But what happens if my life has been crippled from the start?
If your life has been crippled from the start, then yeah, I would agree that there should be some program to try and help you, but you need to like go to that program and do what the program says.
You see, this is a horrible analogy, but this kind of shows in a way that we've evolved to kind of take care of things like this. But in ancient Greece, in Sparta, when they would they would breed their children to be warriors, right?
Yeah.
But then the disabled children, or the children that had birth defects or just problems from start, they would, and this is horrible, but it's part of like the I don't know, the story or whatever.
It's ancient times, P. No one's blaming you.
They had a big pit in ancient Sparta. If you ever watched the movie 300, you would see like they had that big pit, right? And they would, or big cliffs, and they would throw the disabled and otherwise, in their eyes, not acceptable kids in there, and they're no longer part of their society. Like you're not perfect, so we don't want you. Like you can't fight on the front lines, we don't want you.
Right. Sparta was known as like one of the greatest war countries.
Yeah. To be fair, they were literally a war state. They lived and breathed war.
Wow. That brings up like a big thing about empathy too, and how it relates to
and the crazy
success.
Thing is, people will look at Spartans and be like, "Whoa, those guys were super cool. They were so tough and like, manly men, whatever."
They were.
I mean, yeah, but you have that part about like, where's the humanity in that?
Right. But that does bring up a great topic about if you have empathy, are you weaker?
Ooh.
I mean, if you have empathy, are you weaker?
So the Spartans had no empathy for those disabled, so-called disabled children. But
they focused on, like, defending themselves from being conquered, and no offense, but no one in a wheelchair is gonna, like, fight in Iraq or Afghanistan right now and, like, be a Rambo. No one's gonna be a hero in a wheelchair.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, those veterans, like, they were put in a wheelchair because they were doing Rambo type stuff.
Veterans 100% need help if they suffered mentally.
PTSD is a real issue. Like, you would even see that stuff with like cops as well. Cops have like PTSD. Some of the stuff they see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, dude. People on the front lines of any type of, I guess.
If you're a soldier who's actually fought, you deserve all the aid in the world. You literally did the most selfless thing for your country. The absolute least your country could do is, take care of you.
No, but no, I actually like, that's an interesting topic.
If empathy is for the weak.
Empathy is for the weak? What the hell have we like become to even question something like that, though?
They say some of the greatest, most powerful people in history were sociopaths or psychopaths, and those are people with almost no empathy.
I mean, the thing about a good leader is you have to be like with an iron fist, you know, you're not supposed to be...
I disagree with that.
I'm not saying empathy shouldn't go out the window, but there's a famous saying that, you know, the path to self-destruction is paved with good intentions.
That's a little different, though. That's like when people try to do something
good,
yeah,
but in the long term or with a lot of side effects that were not predicted for, you end up hurting people more than what you actually intended to do.
Yeah, but I think that good is very subjective in that case. That term is like very subjective situations.
I mean, a perfect example is like if you put a lot of money into the healthcare system so that everyone without healthcare now has it, what if the quality goes down and people just refuse? Because before, healthcare was optional, you know? What happens if healthcare is mandatory and you can't afford it, or you don't want to spend your money? If you're poor and they're saying you need to pay for this healthcare system, you're going to look at that and be like, I have very little money, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And despite the whole intention being more healthcare for everyone, you end up having less healthcare, less people with healthcare, and the quality went down. So this is a perfect example of like you had a good idea, not a good idea, you had good intentions with your idea, but it did the absolute opposite. If you need an even more realistic example, the war on drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
That was quote unquote a good idea to stop people doing drugs, and what happened? More drugs. More drugs
and more people in bad situations.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example of like doing the right thing that had the wrong effect.
Yeah.
I will say. Oh no, go on.
Sorry. I don't think anyone wants healthy people paying for sick people.
Yeah, that's
tough. That's a tough concept to grab.
I mean, people are selfish by nature. Like, I want myself and my family to be healthy, but like, if some guy in like Texas, or not Texas, if some guy in like South Dakota, he's just like
South Dakota.
I have friends in Texas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anyone from South Dakota. We at the Stay Positive podcast appreciate all South Dakotans, but if you're unhealthy, I don't know you personally, so you're not the first guy or girl that is on my mind to help.
Unfortunate for you.
I mean, I imagine I'm not the first person they think of helping when they think of helping someone in need.
Yeah. But
if you feel like donating...
I was gonna say, despite like... Because we could go into this idea of universal, because that's what we could have transitioned into there, like universal healthcare. But I will say, like, before we do that, it's in the U.S. I guess it's not like that because they care more about quality than quantity of those covered and like availability. Because the quality of healthcare, like you will say, Alex, I feel like you can attest to this, knowing physicians, that it's high quality healthcare here. And I actually know a physician because I coach his son, and he says that the quality of healthcare in the U.S. is very high.
Yeah,
even though the system itself is not perfect, it's very good healthcare.
It was better like a long couple years ago, but but yeah, the thing is, like, here's a question. Here's a very moral, great question. Would you rather have everyone have like low-level healthcare, or 95% of the population have grade A healthcare?
I mean, that's basically the argument for universal versus like a U.S. system.
But like, what's the right answer? And the answer is, it's hard to say, because on the one hand, it's like everyone has it, but it's just very poor and very low quality, which, you know, everyone has access to it and it's affordable, but it's not the most useful. It's not zero, but it's not like the greatest solution. On the other side, you have the significant majority of people who having the best healthcare. But this unfortunately leaves that 5% or arbitrary percent where they don't. So it's like the majority are having the best things, leaving the rest to have zero or close to zero.
What do you know about universal healthcare?
I know it's all controlled by the government, and it's in their hands whether they want to cut programs or not.
It's never a good thing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good thing, but it is
on paper.
On paper and in idea, it does sound good because everyone does like free stuff, even though it's not really free. But
I mean, sorry.
But the problem is, can you value one life more than another?
That's the question.
That is the question. And I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know if I'm qualified.
I couldn't answer
I don't think anybody is qualified to answer that question.
Yeah,
man.
I have heart problems every time I think about answering that question. I listened to a few reviews about a few scary movies or thriller movies about there's this one movie called The Circle, and it's basically,
I know what you're talking about.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's basically 20 or 30 people get abducted by an alien race, and they're stuck on a platform, or they're stuck in a box on the ground, and they're in a circle, right? And at random, or not at random, by vote, someone gets killed.
Wow.
So what happens now?
They start valuing lives.
Yeah. They start thinking, it's well, the old people are old, you kill them first. It's
right.
The child, it's who cares about child? They think about that.
Jeez.
It's who's a jerk? Who's the criminal? There's a police officer who's I know you're a criminal. It's let's vote him off. It's nobody's caring about anything.
But that's terrible. That's a case
it's
study in
self-preservation, because I don't want to die, but neither does anyone else. So what happens?
I mean, then you just pick all the poor qualities, and whoever has the greatest amount of poor qualities.
Yeah, it turns into a popularity contest. And the second movie is a Spanish movie. It's called The Platform.
Is it a similar thing?
It's very horrifying. It made me... So basically, the idea is... It's basically... not satire. What's the criticism? It's a critique on capitalism.
Interesting.
I didn't like its critique because there are some aspects of it that I disagreed with after a few days of not sleeping due to the horror. But basically the gimmick is you have this main character who wants to get a degree. And they say, if you want this degree, you have to spend 6 months in a hole. And he says, okay, fine. And one of the questions they ask him is, what's your favorite food? Which is a weird question, but funnily enough, these are actual questions in real life interviews I've had, where it's what's your favorite food? But they weren't as horrific as this one. So he answers, and he wakes up in a cell with a cellmate, and he's in prison gear or something, and his cellmate is hey, what are we gonna eat? And the way the hole works is there are floors, and in the beginning of the movie you don't know how many. So this person wakes up on floor 47, and the way the hole works is the floor 0 puts all the food on a table, and it goes down one floor at a time, and you can imagine what happens. People start taking the food, and by the time it gets to 47 it's only leftovers, and by the time it gets to 100 there's nothing, and then by the time it gets to 200 there's nothing.
Do they know how many floors there are?
In the beginning, we find out at the end,
okay.
But you don't find out until the very end.
Even the characters in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The person who was doing the interview, she gets in the hole too. Gets paired up with the person, and she says this. She says there are only 200 floors, and they're on floor 37, I think. And this is the second month. They have to stay on the floor for a month, and they are paired up with their partner stays the same, assuming something doesn't happen to them, which I think you can tell if they got a new partner what that means. But So this woman, she's like, there's only 200 floors, right? So they survive the second month. Guess what floor they wake up on the third month?
Oh man, 201,
202.
Oh,
And the woman hangs herself out of the guilt because she was told by the institute that there were only 200. So can you imagine waking up on 200 and to look down and see just an endless, it never ends, it just keeps going. So not only are you on a floor lower than what they told you, but you can see the floors lower and lower. And basically the critique on capitalism is that idea of like, if you're born or you get lucky, you get on a high floor, and if you're not, you're on the low floor and you have to just fight and struggle to survive. I didn't like the idea perfectly because in modern day capitalism, you can always find a way to get to the top. It's not so cut and dry that you're stuck at the level, but it's really sad and depressing.
But that's another thing. Like I feel like pop culture, just in movies and whatever, reality TV, anything. It's been able to kind of make stuff like this, like happen. And
no, but like
it doesn't shed light on a lot of the problems.
Yeah, but the biggest the sad reality is everyone got to choose their favorite food. Everyone. So theoretically, if they only ate what they wanted, everyone would have food.
I mean, greed.
But because there's a hierarchy, no one's thinking, oh, I'll take what I want. They'll take everything they can get and leave nothing for the person below them.
It's also the thought that if I don't take it, someone else is going to take it all.
Yeah.
So I might as well take it all.
It's so conflicting. It's so like bothering because it's like I get it, but like I wish
psychologically totally on par. But at the same token,
it's not perfect. Like I said, in real capitalism, you can get to the top from the lowest level. You're not stuck at the low. This isn't the Indian caste system.
We'll say idealistic capitalism or meritocratic system.
I mean, I believe. Maybe I'm just such a wonderful optimist, but I believe hard work will persevere. Not persevere. Hard work pays off. You will get somewhere if you work hard. It might take longer than some, but it will pay off in the long run.
Agreed.
But that movie, it's so bad. It's a great movie, but don't eat it. Don't watch it.
Don't eat it.
Don't watch it on a full stomach or while eating or in the middle of the night. Please. Thank you.
Oh, it's such a tough one, man.
Wow.
But it's such a simple yet interesting concept. Because it's like you're just put there at random. You could be on the top floor or you could be on the lowest floor. Take a wild guess what's the bottom floor.
They tell you?
They show you.
Is it in the thousands?
No.
No?
No.
999?
No. That's a good guess, though.
203?
No.
I want to guess it right, though. 700?
No.
666?
Close.
Oh. No, I said something.
You want to try?
665.
No.
Damn. I don't know.
I should say it?
Go for it.
It's 333 with 2 cellmates. Clever.
Interesting.
It's clever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a messed up movie, bro.
Yeah. I don't know if it's classified as horror. I think it's classified as thriller.
That's BS, bro.
That's
horrifying. I mean thriller because it's like horrifying to,
it's horrifying.
To see stuff
like they're not trying
actually,
to they're not really trying to scare you, but like just the scenario itself is scary because you would be scared out of your mind in that situation.
Do you know if that was aired in China or was it censored?
I don't know. I don't know. I get it. But here's the thing. So the main character has 3 cellmates. So, and the funny you bring that up. I assume you say that because, it's a one-party system in China. The third guy who ends up being the roommate, they end up on floor 6.
Ooh.
Which is like 5 floors from, escape. And the guy has a rope and he's screaming to like all the rooms, like the only 5 rooms above him. It's like, please help me up. I want to. We're on room 5. I have a rope. Please, like, hoist me up there. And the couple above him, they taunt him.
What?
And,
and it's a couple. It has to be a couple, right? Because if it's just 2, I feel like they make it in a way more inhumane that way because it's just 2 people.
I think it's a couple.
Shared ideal.
I think it's a couple because it's a man and woman, and the man calls her darling, so I assume it's a couple. So, and they say yes. They taunt him. They're like, do you believe in God? And he's like on his knees. He's like very enthusiastic and he's begging, because freedom is 5 floors away. And they say, fine, throw the rope up here. They throw the rope.
No.
He climbs up.
No.
And I won't tell you the disgusting part because it's disgusting, but they do let go.
Oh.
He's saved. He's not the protagonist, he's like teetering on the edge about to fall, and the protagonist like pulls him up. He loses the rope because that falls.
Greatest anime comebacks 2020.
No, and he's broken because like he lost the rope, and he's 5 floors from escape.
Sheesh.
And they didn't want to help him.
Bro, I mean, there's popular culture showing how people value human lives.
And should I just spoil the ending?
Go for it.
So basically, the protagonist and the main guy, they want to like break the system. They want to prove that this system is like, they want to like not overcome. They want to like outdo the system.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea the protagonist comes, and this is Spanish. You know what Don Quixote is?
I've heard of the book, yeah.
You know anything about it?
No, I want to read it though, but it's apparently very difficult.
It's basically about a knight who's like delusional in his like chivalrous nature.
Oh, okay.
He's basically a really good guy, but he's trying to achieve things in a really silly way.
Oh, nice.
So this guy, he brought that book for some reason. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there's some symbolism that I'm overlooking. But basically, the protagonist goes to this guy and he says, let's do this. I have a plan. Let's go on the table and stay there and ration the food,
mm-hmm.
which is a socialist ideology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he says, we're going to make it to the bottom so everyone has food. And they start doing this, and the plan is so this guy gets stuck on floor 202, and he like takes some glass and he starts like doing the math to try and figure out how many floors deep the table is, and he estimates it's 250. It's not 250.
Yeah, obviously.
But he estimates that, and he tells the guy it's 250 floors to like give him a number, so don't tell him it's bottomless. And they sit on the platform, they use their bed, they like destroy their beds to get like some bars as weapons, mm-hmm. and they just start going down one at a time. The first 50 floors don't get any food because they get food every day because they can.
Mm-hmm. And
the plan is basically to ration the food out fairly to everyone amongst the following floors.
Mm-hmm.
As you can imagine, most people didn't like that. They want their food now, so they start beating them. But like,
nice.
So you said like, is this aired in China? It's like probably not, because this is showing that socialism is equally as flawed, if not more. Because the only way socialism, even in a historical standpoint, has worked is by being forced against their will to commit to this ideology. So no, I don't think China aired it.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a brain.
And it has an ambiguous ending, which is frustrating.
You hate movies like that. I don't like movies like that. You like movies
it's good.
that end on cliffhangers?
No.
It's not a cliffhanger.
Stupid.
I don't like shows that end on cliffhangers.
Yo,
I gotta wait 4 years for the next season.
Right? No. But like, what happens if it's the last season?
Yeah, then.
Sorry, it's a side topic. Go on.
Yeah, because I mean it's good because it causes discussion about what happens in the end.
True.
Versus them just telling you.
Sometimes
you want closure. That's why it's a tactic.
I know.
They strip you of closure to make you just feel that itch.
Inadequate. itch. Yeah, the itch that can't be scratched.
Anyway, so yeah, humanity's greedy. That's the message from.
So is that what's really wrong with healthcare then?
I don't.
No, but really,
I don't think it's greed. I think it's half incompetence and half something else.
What's the other half?
I don't know.
It is a business.
It's a business.
It's a business. Yeah. They want to make money. They don't care in making.
Yeah, and I guess to be honest, when it comes to business, it's who can do the best thing, or who can get it to the most people and keep that business alive for the longest. That's literally the core function.
Did you know about Florida reopening like a month or two ago?
Right.
Yeah, the amusement parks opened.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we mentioned that last week.
We mentioned it last podcast.
Oh yeah, Six Flags is open too in New Jersey.
What?
Right?
I don't know about now, but
you have to wear masks.
But essentially, they opened. Masks were optional also because why not?
What?
In Florida.
Yeah, Florida's not part of the U.S., guys.
It might as well not be. I wouldn't. Nothing of value would be lost if they seceded. Pete, stop destroying our setup. Please. We love the South Dakotans and the Floridians. But the thing is, Florida knows. Like, everyone from Florida is like, yeah, it's
Florida.
Like, everyone from I've never met someone from Florida who was like, yeah, it's
we
great.
love Florida.
We love Florida, but Florida doesn't love them. You know what I'm saying?
So what ended up happening?
The coronavirus spiked and they closed everything down again. So it's just like,
wow.
It's just like, but why?
Yeah.
It's like it's going down, and I guess the logic is that, it's going down, so it's not a problem anymore. But I don't know if it's greed or stupidity, because it's going down because people were doing the proper medical thing to, social distance and stay at home. So once you got rid of that, what do you think is going to happen?
Right.
Especially with an amusement park, which is notorious for, like, standing in lines next to each other, It's just like, would you call that greed, stupidity, both?
All of the above.
All of the above, exactly.
There are, like, conspiracy theories out there, too. That the numbers are being forged in Florida.
Bill Gates is a reptilian.
Yeah, and Zuck, too. And all the 3 other CEOs from those antitrust hearings, they're all actually lizard people.
Yeah. Where did that even come from?
I don't know, man. Actually, no, I remember. It's because when Zuckerberg first had that hearing, he was just totally emotionless.
No, but just the idea of reptilian at all, like, who's the...
I think it's just because people look at reptiles like, like Komodo dragon. Yeah, they look at like aliens. Except we know that it's actually octopus.
We do know it's octopuses. I guess you didn't listen to our other podcasts.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah,
no, I'll let him have that episode so he knows exactly.
Oh, so we shouldn't tell him right now?
No, definitely not.
There's something special about octopuses that I learned.
They are crazy.
Download our episode, please.
All right, so before we get going, what do you think that we can actually do better?
I forgot who was talking about it before. They brought up the idea of what if all drugs were legal?
I did.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you have like an Amsterdam situation. I don't know if Amsterdam.
I just remembered. Right in 2001, Portugal did that.
And
crime went up.
No, they focused on just
the least harmful drugs
instead of like criminalizing everyone. Just giving them help, putting all their costs into helping them. I'm not sure what the effect. I don't remember what the effects were, but I think that.
I feel like if they're gonna have a robust system in place, kind of like Switzerland, then it should work theoretically.
Yeah,
and I mean, research has shown that it has worked, and application of it has shown that it has worked.
What, helping people, or
helping
being
them,
nice?
Giving them knowledge. I think. On that side for when it comes to substance abuse.
When should you start teaching kids about this?
That's
teenagers are rebellious, kids have low attention spans, and adults are already making poor life choices. So which age is the right one to start telling them, hey, by the way, we've established making them afraid doesn't work. So just telling them, hey, by the way, this exists and it hurts.
And then also telling them don't do it also doesn't work. Because you're just gonna want to do it anyway. People are too curious by nature. I mean, it's like the reason that we're on the moon, bro. But
are you Making a parallel between...
No, we're not doing it. We need to break the streak, bro.
No, I wasn't gonna bring up that man, but I was just gonna say, are you making a parallel between like us reaching the moon versus a guy doing drugs?
That was an unintended double entendre.
Was it?
Because, like getting super... Never mind.
Oh, that's really clever.
I didn't
get it.
But actually, no, I did. No, what I'm saying
Sweet
is...
dude.
No. What I'm saying is we're curious by nature. So we're going to want to venture into things that we don't know anything about. That's it.
What if
Doesn't
we know,
have to mean more
what
than
if
that,
we
dude.
know everything about it? Does the curiosity fade?
No, because we're always going to want to see if there is more we don't know about it. I don't think there's any way to quantitatively always know everything about something.
Unless the government tells you.
Well, that's a topic for another day, I suppose.
I guess so.
I would say if you're going to...
Do drugs?
No.
I'll cut that out. I was gonna say.
I don't know how to fix the healthcare system, man. I need to school myself more or talk to more people that understand.
Repeat the I was gonna say. Okay.
No, I wasn't gonna go with that. It's stupid because it's just gonna be like the whatever ending.
Did you?
Oh wait, so Keeg, did you have any?
I just looked up the Portuguese and their success. They're actually really successful.
Really?
Really
Is
successful.
It still in place?
It's still in place. The decriminalization. So there's way less incarcerated people for drug offenses.
There's also way less people in Portugal.
And well,
okay, what's the percentage
compared before 2001 compared to after?
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say the percentage is per capita? What does it say? Does it say?
No. He said it got better before than after. So Portugal itself improved on its own.
And the overdose that's greatly decreased also.
So crazy.
So my stupid idea of make everything allowed is a good idea.
Apparently it works.
I mean, on a serious note, the thing about this is America is in a very difficult situation because it is the biggest. Yeah, China, India, and Russia, but like we don't care about those countries. China doesn't allow drugs. They'll like shoot you on the spot. India, I don't know what the drug thing about India is. Do they do drugs? They're probably
it's the same
they have
way
probably
in Russia as
of,
it is in China.
They probably have a lot of other issues.
Very very frowned upon in Russia as well.
Yeah, but the point is, anything that works in like Holland or Portugal or the Scandinavian countries, these countries, their population, you put all of Europe together and they don't have the population of America. True. So it's hard to say if that would work or close, It's hard to say if any solution that works in these smaller countries would work in the bigger countries. You know what I'm saying?
Population density, man. That's weird.
But hey, we're a curious experimental race, and
we are always staying positive, baby.
I say we try it.
Say we try it.
What?
Well, there's only one drug that we need, and that is to always
stay positive.
Thank you.
Baby, love it.
And cut.